Alright guys, here I want to show my other load that I tested today. This is a 357 Magnum load using a 150 grain full Wadcutter. It is pure lead. It expanded to 390, which is not the best, but there's no way this thing can clog. It also did a lot of damage. I think this thing tumbled. I was shooting from very close. But let's try to get this up on the edge so you can see. The Wadcutter, there's actually two that I fired right here. And you can see, even though this one was a hollow point that expanded, this one seems to have done more damage. Even though it didn't quite expand nearly as much as the hollow point. Let's get this on end. Oh, get some light in there. You can see the wound track. Looks like it tumbled a number of times. And this thing did pass through the whole block, which is about 12 inches. So starting from probably about 9 inches of just total utter devastation. Let's see if we can get a look at it from the edge. This thing's coming apart. Oh. So on the edge, you can see a little better how big that thing opened up, how much damage it did. I'm going to cut it open in a minute, and you'll get to see more of what happened. Alright guys, time to take a closer look at the 357 Magnum full Wadcutter. Now, despite this thing only expanding a little bit, it did a significant amount of damage. Remember, it's coming in flat. And it looks like it tumbled. Now, even though it didn't expand a lot, it expanded. It did a huge permanent wound cavity. Okay? More than the hollow point. So we're getting about 2 inches of permanent expansion that starts about a ½ inch from the entrance. And of course, this went through the whole thing. Which is 12 inches, so I don't know how much. It did go through a little bit of my fleece backstop, so it had a little more power than the, or penetration I should say, than the 38 Special hollow point, but this thing did tremendous damage. And you can see even here, we've got what looks like a sideways tumble even near the end of the block. So massive devastation starting at the ½ inch mark. I'd say at about 8 inches it tones down a bit, but we're still getting that bullet flipping all the way to the end, which is almost 12.5 inches at this point. You can see that it probably flipped right here, still doing huge amount of damage. Here's the other side. So would I carry a 357 Magnum Wadcutter? Hell yeah, I would. Hell yeah. They don't make for smooth reloading, but for your initial cylinder, you can't go wrong. It will not clog, it cannot shrink, it can only grow. So, as you can see, when this square piece of metal hits, it starts to tumble and causes massive damage. And I was using 5 grains of bullseye in a Magnum case. So this is not a plinking load. This is definitely not. 38 Special is about like 2.8 grains, so it's significantly more power, more powder. Because you have that volume, you can actually create a devastating load with it. And that's that.